Hello and welcome again to River Valley Farm. Guess what we got? FedEx delivered the window on the second try. It's amazing. So anyway, we got to put this back in, which is the wing window and the front part of the track that let me lay this down over here where we can see it. This bracket right here broke off of the window track, so I took and welded a piece, or welded it back on, basically, so that won't, it won't happen in another 25 years maybe, if I'm still driving this thing by then, which, who knows, maybe I will be. But first things first, we need to put a little bit of paint on this thing, which that ain't no big deal. And then another thing we're gonna do, I got a fuel filter sitting over there on top of that Interstate battery. Got to put that on, put that in here, and then my wife was painting some chairs for a front porch, so I had to do something to cover the hood of my truck. It was getting paint on it. I hate that. I don't want a blue truck. If I wanted a blue truck, I'd have painted this thing years ago. But anyway, I guess the tarp over here out of the way for now. One of these days when I get the place emptied out and cleaned up again, I'll fold the tarp back up. Well, before I do all this other stuff, we are going to hook up the little battery charger on here and test this battery and see if it's any good or not. I'm thinking it's not. And we're going to do likewise on this one. Charge it up, test it, see if it's any good or not. Hopefully one of them is, because I don't want to buy two of them right now. As a matter of fact, I don't want to buy any of them right now. But what I'm hoping for is that this one's better than that one, because that's your main battery to the starter. So anyway, after you let this thing sit 3, 4, 5 days at a time, it doesn't want to start. Won't crank fast enough to get it started. So that's what we're up against right now. Like I said, we're going to change the fuel filter, test the batteries, put the window in, and might even set the steering wheel back straight. I don't know. So sit tight and we'll get to some of this fun stuff here. Alright, so we got that battery on the charge, and we're going to put this one on the charge here in a minute, but anyway, I have to take this piece off the air filter to get into the battery on this side here on the driver's side, and the other one is exposed. But anyway, now I got to remember how this works. But I think that seal's got to go up in there like that, obviously. And then our other piece, the window, holds it down in through here like this, the wing window. So, and then it bolts in somewhere down here. Somewhere down here. Oh, over here, I guess it is. Anyway, let me get this thing stuck down in here and then we'll figure it out. Probably a good idea, huh? Okay, so we got our wing windows back in here. One thing, okay, we've got these two little bolts, screws, whatever you want to call them, up here. Is that important or not? Probably not. So anyway, and they're in there, but this one down here, I missed something. I put that in there, that little tab on here, I put it in there backwards. Put it on there backwards, I should say. Oh, I second guessed myself. I always tell people don't ever do that. It doesn't work. Well, then I go and do it myself. So then our only real option at this point in time, or well, we got two options. One being we could take this all back out, cut it off, go to where a welder is, weld it back on, and probably destroy this piece right here altogether. Or we can attempt to drill a hole right here, because it's just right up here someplace on this nice angle, and see if we can get it to tighten up that way. But at the same time, just by the way that is, I don't know that we don't need to shim that over that way a little bit somehow, which might have been accomplished by having it a bolt in the right place to begin with. But I don't think so. So, yeah, more fun stuff coming here. I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do, and then I'll show you when I get done. Okay, so right or wrong, I need this truck. So what we did is I took and put 3 washers as such in behind here. Took a cutoff wheel on a grinder, that thing right there. Cut this out, put that bolt in it, tighten it up, which has this solid now, which is good. And my seal on the outside is pretty good. Maybe not 100%, but it's pretty good. So the main thing is though, is that the track is pretty solid in there. So it's not going to flex when the door shuts and bust my window, hopefully. So anyway, that I should probably shut the door a little bit more gently next time, right guys? Anyway, so next up, we get the window out of the box and put it in here. I'm gonna try and figure out how I'm gonna get the I don't know what y'all can see down there, but this piece on the actual, which that's got a lot of flex to it, the window lever does, so maybe I'll be able to do that. And I could always raise it up a little bit to make it easier, which then puts it, yeah, that's got all kinds of room in there now, so we're good. Just by the way it acts when I turn the key on, I think both my batteries are pretty much junk. So yeah, anyway, at least I got a couple spares over there, though they're not quite exactly the right ones. So we'll go from there. Okay, so interesting to note that this doesn't have a little roller on there. It has this apparatus on the window regulator, and I used my little extendable magnet to hold the window up while I figured out what I was going to do with this thing. But it appears the only thing we're going to be able to do with it is take the take this piece off, which I have done, put it in the window, the little track piece on the bottom of the window, which I guess I need to bring the window down some so you can see that. Hang on a minute. So that thing right there, okay, and then you have to put this in here. Here it is, if it'll go. I hope it goes, because if it doesn't, then I'm still without a truck. Guess that's what I get for buying a $25 window. Anyway, yeah. Oh yeah, made in China. Awesome. So we may have to get creative with this thing too, and I don't know how we would ever do anything with it though. But one thing I am going to do is I'm going to spray that with white lithium grease. I've got a spray can of white lithium grease, and I'm going to spray that little track in there with that, so it's got something to lube it, and then we'll see what it does after that. So anyway, I can't remember if it always kind of, excuse me. And no Rona's here just allergies. Anyway, I don't know if it was kind of always jumped back like that. I never really paid any attention to it up until the day it broke. So anyway, I don't know whether we can blame that on it being a 25-year-old truck or those 3 words right there. But either way, it's in there and it goes up and down. So this took a whole lot of figuring and massaging and applying finesse to get this down in here correctly without breaking it, which is usually what happens when I play with glass. So anyway, this piece in the little track here on the bottom of the window, it has to stay on here, and then you have to raise the window regulator all the way up as high as it'll go, which it goes way too high anyway, and actually causes the door to flex because it pushes up farther than it needs to. But it's always done that, so nothing to worry about there. But anyway, you have to raise this all the way up. Start this window down in here on this piece, this bottom of this window down in here on an angle like so you can catch the plastic piece, bushing, bearing, whatever you want to call it right there, that carries it up and down. And then you have to run it down while outside of the track. You have to loosen track and track, okay, so that you can finagle it once it's down in the bottom of the track once it's down in the bottom of the door to get it into where it belongs, into the tracks, I should say. Anyway, all in all, not very fun, and I did not keep track of how long it took me to do it, but beside the point, it's in there. That's all that really matters. Now all I got to do to this is put the door panel back on and clean that sticker off of there and clean the fingerprints off the window, and we should be good. So the next thing that I was gonna do was trade batteries here, if it'll let me. If it'll let me. So, so you're aware, the only thing over here that could possibly hurt anything is this, and it's covered in rubber and not touching anything that it could arc on right now. So anyway, we're going to connect to this battery, maybe, like so, and like so. And then I turned it on to a 12 volt 6 amp charge. I usually charge on a 2 amp, but anyway, whatever, doesn't matter. And then over here someplace I have my I'll go toaster oven battery load tester. Okay, I don't trust the battery analyzers or those things that don't put loads on batteries. I just don't trust them. So anyway, let's see, we have, where are we sitting at there? Yeah, close to 13 volts. 12 volt battery should sit at 12.6 when it's fully charged and not being charged, right? Let's see what happens. And it's hanging in there about 10.9, so that is really pretty good. That's cool. That's honestly kind of surprising. So anyway, let's just do that one more time just for good measure, I guess. See what we get this time after it cools off a little bit. So, all right, we're closer to 12.4 now. But anyway, let's see what it does. Still right around 10.9. So okay then. And this is a 100 amp battery load tester. Yes, it would be better if I had like a 140 amp one, which actually I do out on my work truck, but I don't feel like going to get it right now. Don't worry, I'll pick you guys up in a minute once you hit the floor. Okay, gotcha. So anyway, I prefer the big old carton pile load testers that have, that are adjustable from 0 to however many amps you want to try and draw with them and everything else. I greatly prefer that, but I don't have one of those because they're expensive if and when you can even find one. The little battery analyzer things that people use, shops use, whatever you want to call them. I've had them tell me good batteries were bad and bad batteries were good. That thing, while it leaves it to your own interpretation, it doesn't lie, at least. So, yeah. So anyway, we're going to say that that battery is good and clean the terminals and put it back on there, I guess. Still don't like the fact that it's drawing, which I guess we could test that too real quick, see what it does. Do a milliamps draw test on it, see what it does. But anyway, we may just wait and hold off on this and save it for another video, because that's yeah, that's doing way better than I thought it was. So maybe perhaps I have a bad cable or something like that. But as I said, maybe we'll just save it for another video. If the truck will run tomorrow, I'm going to use it, whether it needs batteries or not. So I'm going to go about with putting the window back together, the door panel back on, and get that done. And then probably fire it up and see what gives. So yeah. Oh, change the fuel filter. I haven't changed the fuel filter. Definitely changing the fuel filter. It's had, well, it sits a lot, so we need to keep the fuel filters changed in it anyway. But yeah, which is very, very simple to do. You just take a pair of pliers and stick down in here and twist this out and twist another one back in. I do have another, the original style fuel cap, filter cap for it too, which had the 1/2-inch drive socket deal in the middle of it. This is a Napa filter. If you go to, say, I don't know, if you're someplace and the only thing you can get is a Motorcraft filter, you have to have the lid for it, because not only is the Motorcraft filter more expensive, but it does not come with a lid. And the lid for those, when you can find somebody that actually has them, is like 30 or 40 bucks versus a $14 spin-in screw-on filter like that. So, oh yes, it is behind the seat in case I ever do need it, but hopefully we never need it. So, yeah. All right, guys, for that, I think we're going to call it good on this one. Went and checked my alfalfa field. I guess I'll stick a picture in here someplace, probably about right here. Took a couple pictures of it. I've got alfalfa sprouting. I can't see any evidence of any oats or anything like that coming up yet, but anyway, the alfalfa is coming, so that's good. And then tomorrow morning, I need this truck so I can go down and look at a D8. I don't know if the guy wants me to go and assess the condition of it before he buys it, or if he's already bought it and now he wants me to work on it. Well, I've got to call him yet and find that out. So anyway, but yeah, so got to have my truck tomorrow, one way or another, as long as the windows are in it, because it's supposed to be raining. I don't mind me getting wet, but I don't want my 1995 model cloth seats to get wet. So yeah. Thanks for watching, and I'll get back to you later.